We have a approval of the January 15th minutes.
So move.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Cornell's not gonna be here, right?
Yes.
So where do we, let's see. Strategic plan report, what are we doing with that?
That would be me. So that's our Q4 report.
Okay,
So let me just get the screen share. So like I usually do, I'm gonna do our presentation, just going over our progress for Q4 on our strategic priority outcomes. I'm also including, because we're also required as planning department to do an annual report. I didn't include the full annual report because I have to do that to IGA, but I put the link to it if you want to check out everything else, but I will also summarize some of the things that are in the annual report as it pertains to SWEC. I will just, you have the full report if you want to look at the other planning and transportation weights and measures stuff, but I'm just going to go directly to the outcomes that SWEC oversees. So one of them is our in our planning department, priority outcome number 4, which regards the outcome of to foster the responsible use of Otsego County's land and resources. Just to highlight, for 2025, we were awarded $177,000 for the Somerville Season Trail Maintenance Grant. We added over 77 acres to the county's agricultural district. We initiated the hazard mitigation plan update, and we completed the county's natural resources inventory tool. To highlight what we accomplished in Q4, we initiated the agriculture district's 8-year review with, we sent out over 3,800 letters to property owners in the district. We reimbursed 5 property owners through the septic system replacement grant program. And we also completed the government operations portion of the greenhouse gas inventories for our Climate Smart grant. And then these first few months in 26, we'll finish the community greenhouse gas inventories. I'm going to skip ahead on you a little bit here to solid waste. One of our priority outcomes in solid waste is to ensure the availability of local waste disposal options for Otsego County. So just to highlight, 2025, we collected over 38,000 tons of MSW and construction demolition debris, over 3,800 tons of single stream recycling. And as many of you know, we repaired the Southern Transfer Station building after the storm damage. Just to highlight Q4, we completed the hauler licensing process for 2026, 2027. So all the haulers are licensed for the next 2 years, good to go. And then, as many of you also know, we updated our tip fees for user fees for 26. Our second outcome is to increase Otsego County's waste diversion rate. So to highlight 25, some of the main things that we accomplished under this priority outcome was to initiate the final design for the Southern Transfer Station renovations. We held our household hazardous waste event. And we also started 2 new programs at the transfer station, which included tire recycling and plastic film collection. During Q4, we completed a lot of our reporting for DEC. We attended some local fairs and conferences, completed a citizen-centric report for solid waste, approved Hillside Commons as a waste park business. And we met with the League of Women Voters on trying to coordinate our messaging on waste reduction efforts. And then the last priority outcome for solid waste is to support the responsible management of closed MOSA landfills in cooperation with Montgomery and Schoharie counties. And so in 2025, we paid our monthly post-closure contributions. We reviewed the budgetary considerations for the leachate project. We worked to try to coordinate with those other counties on those discussions about the leachate project. In Q4, we did attend the kickoff meeting for that leachate project, which Montgomery County has the engineering contract with Barton Matthews. So that is everything for SWEC portion of our strategic plan report. Obviously, all of the details are both in our annual report, which is on our website, and for the actual Q4 reporting on clearance. But I just want to give you the highlights.
Did we gain any haulers or did the numbers stay the same?
Stay the same.
What does the
Thank-
certification process look like?
So we have an application, that includes, listing all their vehicles that they are gonna be using at transfer stations. They also are required to, present, proof of workers' comp, and disability. If they're like a sole, person, they can, apply for the, What?
CE 200
yeah,
exemption.
CE 200 exemption, through the, I think it's through the DEC, and that, they just provide that to us. And then we review it and, give them, licensing stickers, and then, also send, what the sticker numbers to match the vehicle to the, scale attendants at Cooperstown and Oneonta.
There's no cost to them
Yeah.
for it.
So it's for, completely free process, and we send, like previous years, so it's every 2 years. So previous year applications we send to them, so they, if they're roughly the same, they can just use that same information and then just updated insurance forms.
Is there any like requirements as far as the way they haul? Or any encouragement, like to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
recycling?
They have to attest to the recycling component.
They do, okay.
Yep, and some of it is, so what this allows us to do is, now that we have the stickers and they're licensed, we're able to track what all the haulers bring in by hauler. And then what Kyle does is he keeps a report, just to kind of see where they're at. Every hauler has a different benchmark based off of historical data. I mean, sometimes it's just the customers where they provide service. Some have different recycling rates than others, but if we see a drastic change in that recycling rate, we can reach out to them and say, what's going on? Have you changed the way you provide services?
Yeah, and we have, it's kind of like there's like certain garbage and recycling haulers, and then there's additionally like just people that do clean outs and stuff, which they're all, registered, but like those people don't necessarily do trash pickup, so.
Right.
If they're that sort of service, we just say, that you separate scrap metal versus, construction debris, things like that.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks, Tammy, for you and your department putting together the priority outcomes in such a clear and easy to read way. I know there's a lot of work that goes into listing those, like repaired Southern Transfer Station. I mean, that stands for a lot,
fire.
but yeah. I appreciate it, and it makes for easy reporting on my end when I go out to the towns to
Thanks.
tell them like
Great.
what's going on. It's really great to just stand on your report and here are some things. So thank you.
Thanks.
So I have a question.
Yes.
How does your climate, smart climate work when the federal government is saying we're not paying attention to this anymore?
So that's New York State, a New York State program with New York State funding, so we would just,
So we're all good. to
we're
go.
all good on that end, because, that would be a New York State priority, and then we probably can't count on federal funding for it, but.
And the second question is, how are we making out with Mosa and Montgomery County?
So around the end of 2025, I wanted to try to coordinate with all of our congressional representatives to try to see if we could get some additional funding for the project. And I didn't really get much of a response from anyone. So that's where things have left off. Pretty much, they looked into whether they could get this shared service funding again, and as everybody suspected, the state was like, you can't come back to the same well twice for the same project. So I have not heard very much lately.
So you got a small amount of money towards the study, right?
Yep.
Is that where it ended? But you have to put in the structure to hold the
Yes,
runoff.
Right, what do they call it? The tank, the silo?
the holding
The
tank,
holding tank.
yeah. So I expect we will hear more from Barton and LaJudas. And they might have actually said in their report, I can't remember if it was March or May, it was one of the end months, but later this year. I expect that we will hear from them with some more information, but in terms of trying to get ready for funding opportunities, there has not been a lot of progress.
think we should try again with our electives and like maybe ask if they could find it from like their other, say, we don't want to go into the common application. We would like to have you find a specific amount and earmark it towards this project, which is like a lot of them, Schoharie and Otsego share a lot of representation there, so
Yeah.
they could make that maybe make a bigger impact. So I think we should probably work a little bit more on that.
Okay.
Maybe have Chairman Fraser reach out as well to
That sounds good.
get
Because
involved in that conversation.
I had said, I'm happy to be the one to coordinate all of these legislative contacts. I just need the contacts, and then I'm happy to
Okay.
be the one to kind of try to get everybody in the same room.
Okay, so we'll work. I
So
think it's a good plan.
my understanding is the tank has to have,
Yes,
and how much is the tank?
I don't remember what the current size is. They do not know yet what it
Without-
needs to be.
They don't know the size of the dollar.
They don't know the size that is needed to get, which will represent what cost is gonna be.
When do they think it has to happen?
Yeah.
When?
As soon as we can, probably.
We got that.
Well,
Yeah,
we
something
can
like
give them one
tank.
of our silos.
What's that?
We can give them one of our sewers.
Soy sauce.
They have one of those silos down there.
Yeah.
don't they?
From down
Take
at
it
the
down, put it back
farm.
up.
Down, put it back up.
What I had suggested at one meeting, and once we know the price of it, I suggest again, we have a great deal of money in the MOSA reserve that Montgomery hangs on to, and I can't remember the dollar amount, but it is well above the minimum that we need to keep. Like if it's to just at least get the holding tank done, could we, it seems like that, to me, that would seem like a responsible use of reserve funds for a capital project, so.
Right, what are we waiting for?
Right.
Something bigger than this comes along, I don't wanna see it, so.
And then we can worry about the pipe and everything.
What did they-
but-
What did they call it when it came out of this landfill?
Oh, once it crosses
Yeah.
that, it's just sewer.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's what the other thing was like, why could we just go after traditional sewer funded?
That's what I was wondering.
Fund it that way. But we would have to find other customers along the way to connect to make it like an economic development project. But, maybe it's a option.
But that's where that's at.
Can you fill me in on this thing?
Oh, I thought, Eamon, that you would be having
Yeah.
some questions about this.
Yeah, I thought I might have
Yeah.
known, and then I just realized. I had no
Yeah,
idea.
I thought there's a big learning curve here.
Yes,
But can be.
sure.
How much time you got?
All right, let me try to give the
So
abridged
let's go
version.
back to 1990.
3 counties used to be in a solid waste authority together. And that dissolved in 2014. And then we all retained kind of our own, so these transfer stations that we have were created under MOSA, and then we sort of just got them after it dissolved, everybody got their respective sites. And then we all continued to offer solid waste services, however each county wants to do it. But, the piece of it is what we're all still having to work together on basically forever are the 2 closed landfills. No, there's 3. There's the C&D landfill that's just north of our northern transfer station, but that's very small. There are 2 main closed landfills in Montgomery County. And those landfills produce leachate. And traditionally, Montgomery County has been trucking that leachate to wastewater treatment plants. And their kind of ask for building a leachate pipe instead of trucking it is trying to hire drivers, potentially the cost of trucking, maintaining the trucks. And then the other issue is that at the eastern landfill, the holding tank is undersized. And so it's starting to deteriorate as well. So we need to look at replacing it and figuring out what would be an appropriate size to replace the current one with. So Montgomery County applied for funding to work on this leachate pipe project at the Eastern landfill. However, they only received enough funding to cover part of, a good portion of, but only part of the engineering design, not the actual work. And this is like, I think now up to a $4 million project. We share the cost of maintaining those closed landfills. It is 42% Montgomery, 40% Otsego, and 18% Schoharie. And so, in trying, we have not yet committed to the funding to actually complete this project, because we're kind of in a precarious place where we, would have to contribute nearly as much as Montgomery County. But we have our own budgetary considerations and constraints that we have to consider and make, and, Montgomery County really needs this because they're struggling from a staffing perspective, so they're very motivated because it would alleviate them of some things. And Schoharie County has the lowest share, so they're not having to put up, a lot of money comparatively to the other two counties. So we're kind of stuck in the middle on this one, and we've just been right now trying to make efforts to discuss it more seriously on how we can get the information we need to know whether we can move forward, with some limited success and some without any success. But Kyle and I have just been, in the meantime, going to any of the meetings and trying to be kind of along for the ride, just so we have all the information we can have at our disposal. That's like the nutshell.
And so we have responsibility because it was our trash at one point.
Yeah.
And so it's a grandfathered responsibility. We're not actually partners with Montgomery.
We are tied to them in this post-closure agreement. So there's a post-closure thing that kind of goes on into,
Those landfills we'll never get rid of, we'll always have them. That's the law, I mean, this.
Okay, where are we at here?
Next is under approvals. I will let Kyle, explain.
So we had received a call, at, tax time about a user fee, correction, request, on this parcel of 67 to 1405. What had occurred was, I looked at the Beacon Real Properties website, and it showed a cabin bungalow on this property that the owner had said was not there and hadn't been there for multiple years, including the year the taxes were for. And with the Google Earth search, I think you included it, right? You can see that it's not there. So the request is to go from 2 units back to 1. The reimbursement request.
And you had talked to the assessor.
Yeah, and they did not make the change. I don't know.
I don't know who made
Yeah.
the change before, but the assessor also does not, I think, believe that they should even have that
Yeah.
assessment. So there's a
Yeah.
whole nother issue that they're gonna have to deal with, but for these purposes, the approval request is to reimburse them for that one user fee unit that they should not have.
What was that, $40 for doing?
$40.
So the building's not there at all?
No, if you, on the imagery, there's kind of right along, there's that little piece of the parcel that juts out into the water. There's a little structure, and then if you go to the next, the 2025 imagery, it's gone. And that is the bungalow that had a user fee unit applied to it.
Or, this, right?
Yeah.
Motion or anything or what?
Yeah, we confirmed it with the assessor, yeah, so we would just need an approval. And then we can issue them the refund to the treasurer's office too.
Don't move.
Second.
Sorry. Any discussion? Need a roll call vote, right? Money, right?
$40.
Powers.
Aye.
McCarty.
Aye.
Kennedy.
Aye.
Kinchy.
Yes.
Portland. Absent.
Okay.
So actually, how long has it been gone? I shouldn't do this now.
No.
Let's do that.
When I talked
I'm
to the
just curious.
owner, she had said multiple. If you
Well-
look at imagery, you can see at least 2 years. But the user fee was added in the past year.
Somebody with access to it probably looked at the imagery and
Previous imagery.
And added it to it, but it wasn't the assessor, so that's, I don't know what happened.
So they've been paying taxes on the house and wasn't camping that wasn't there.
Only for 1 year.
Only for this year, somebody added it back on. Yeah, so that's a before mystery.
That's the only one we got.
Yep, that's it.
Deal with it, take it.
All right, next is Kyle's report. I'll share the screen.
Alrighty, for the month of January, for MSW and C&D. We collected 2,616.06 tons. This generated a revenue of $280,634.28. Our rebate from Casella was $3,055.04. And versus 2025, for the month of January, we were up 83.24 tons. For recycling, for the month of January, we collected 290.75 tons. Our cost to Casella was $30,891.47. Sorry, 28,000. I had the wrong information, sorry. $28,452.80. Our tons recorded at Appalachian, we had 296.85 tons. And our processing rate for that week, increased versus December of 2025. I just wanted to make a note of that. It went up $2. So we had been seeing fluctuation over the last few months. So I just wanted to note that to everybody. And versus 2024 or 2025, sorry, our tonnage was down 5.19 tons. For electronics, for the month of January, we collected 12.2 tons. We had 3 pickups during the month, 2 at Oneonta and 1 at Cooperstown. We have another one scheduled for Monday. So the transfer station should still be open. For cardboard, we collected 4.18 tons. This gave us a savings of $57.95 a ton versus just regular single stream recycling. For glass, we collected 1.96 tons at the northern transfer station. This gave us a savings of $14.87 a ton. And at the southern transfer station, we collected 4.89 tons, and this gave us a savings of $75.66 a ton. For food waste, we collected $14 in compost revenue. For the mattresses, we collected 260, and we sent 5.03 tons to Triad. Just wanted to note we're no longer had the subsidy cost.
So we saved over $1,000.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For books, we had pickups at both stations. At the northern station, we collected 1.05 tons, and at Southern Station, 2.05 tons. So we have book bins, I know the last month we didn't have a pickup, we have 2 book bins up at, Cooperstown and then 3 down at the. Station. For metal, at the Southern Transfer Station, we collected and sent 4.76 tons to Otsego Auto Crushers and 5.23 tons from the Northern Station, and we received our shared rebate of $419.52. For textiles, we collected $59.95 from both stations. And for tires, we sent 9.89 tons to BDS.
Yeah, I had a question because I was trying to explain this to somebody. Who takes our glass?
So we work with Andela products from Richfield Springs. So Casella hauls the glass, but that's where it's taken for the sort separated.
Right, and then the cardboard goes
Otsego Auto Crushers.
to the auto crusher.
Yeah, and we only have collection for that at the Southern Transfer Station right now.
And then, weren't you saying that the mattresses maybe go to somebody who reuses the mattresses?
Yeah, we currently are working with, what is the name of that? The company.
Triad?
Oh, yeah, it's Triad, yep. And they're located in Western New York.
Okay, and what do they do with the mattresses?
They take
the
the
break
lumber and all the metal.
They
out.
separate them all.
It's like-
Yeah, it's all hand broken down, so they have 2 guys. The way that they explain it to us is there's 2 guys that are breaking it down and separate wood products, metal products, and the fabric material.
Okay, and then does the fabric?
I
Put to the
think they reuse it in textile, no,
No, sorry, not to a landfill.
not to landfill, they reuse it in the textile.
Okay.
Market.
Carpeting, things like
Yeah.
that. Because now there's laws about new carpeting has to be made out of recycled material.
I thought they were in particular after this steel was in, is that right? No?
That's
Yeah.
probably the biggest,
Spring.
yeah. I'm not sure.
Sure, yeah.
Cool, thank you.
The glass company in Andela is up on 28, just out in Herkimer County, but they're gonna be moving down in the business park in Richfield.
No,
And
They crush and pulverize glass, they make machines right there that they sell, but our glass they use and pulverize it and they make it into fine aggregate that's used in like roadways or like they have stuff on their website, they've used it in New York City for the colored roadways. They use it as just roadside material.
do they do field trips?
They love to give
Yeah,
tours.
they do.
Yeah.
They love to give tours.
they have,
Especially once they're in Richfield.
I still have a bag of crushed glass they gave me 20 years ago.
they make these machines and they send them all over the world.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yes, it's a very fun tour. I recommend it.
It's very cool.
Okay. More questions?
That's it?
Yeah. What else we got here?
All right, soil and water.
So, soil and water. So Jim and I are both on soil and water. As well as Representative Mickle. We're still representing. Jennifer and I represent the county board and Mr. Powers is landowner category. So the Soil and Water Conservation District is part of the soil and water conservation. Every county in the nation has a soil and water conservation district. And we are a robust member of the New York Association, statewide Association of Conservation Districts. We joined them on Tuesday to lobby for the inclusion of all the soil and water funding in the Environmental Protection Fund part of the New York State budget. So we went up, the director and I went and we were there all day on Tuesday and we went and saw our own representatives and then some other representatives from Hudson Valley, from Long Island, who some of them we were actually quite educational for them. They're like, tell us about what a conservation district is. So we were able to give them a good understanding of how the conservation districts work and how the funding that they provide through New York State is so critical for filling out the budget for our county district. And we had some projects we were able to share that we were working on through the ag non-point source, and then there's the agricultural
AEM,
AEM.
Agricultural Environmental Management, I think.
Yes, that is what it is. I can
I
never
could be wrong.
remember it. So anyway, that was I think it was a successful day. I don't think there's any, I think right now they're not talking about pulling back any of that funding. So I think we're in good shape. And I did want to just say update from our own district. We successfully submitted grants for the Springfield Town Salt Shed. They're now going to be getting $575,000 towards building a new salt shed. We also were awarded $1 million to work on removing a outdated
We'll talk about that later.
Mars Dam that is located on, the dam is failing, and so we're partnered up with Trout Unlimited, the Butternut Valley Alliance, the Upper Susquehanna Coalition, the town of Mars, and the landowner to use this Resilient New York grant that we received to help with that whole project. We are working on getting together the next round for Ag Non-Point, which is going to go in very soon, and also our district is up to date on submitting our yearly reports to Albany. We are in good shape.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay.
And then agricultural districts,
Okay, Kevin's just gonna give an update on where things stand with the 8-year review in open enrollment.
Yes, we had our 8-year review period as part of New York State Ag and Markets Law during the month of January. So that is the one period every 8 years that people that are within the Ag district could leave the Ag district if they wanted to. It's also in line with our 30-day open enrollment period that happens once a year from January 1st to January 30th. And that's the time annually that people could join the agricultural district. We also, with that 8-year review, have this worksheet that people fill out and let us know how they use their land, if any of it is used for crops or livestock, if it's rented to a farmer. And then obviously if they want to add property or remove parcel from the ag district, they could do that with this worksheet. So we've been compiling that data to report on it. We'll bring it to you guys in March, the final project or final report. And so far I've had over 500 responses online. We also mailed every property owner this worksheet and a letter to go along with it explaining that ag district in Otsego County. So we've also received over 300 that were sent in to us by mail, and then we've also had some emailed to us, or they'll take a picture and send it to us. So I've been compiling all of that data to have for you guys, and then also for New York State Ag and Markets. So, and we'll also have at the end of February, we'll have our Ag and Farmland Protection Board meeting, which I know some of you guys are on. So,
Just Nick.
so
never mind, just me.
It's Rick.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Then-
Rick isn't on it anymore?
He's on AFPB, but he's not on SWEC anymore.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Kevin knew there
okay.
were two
Yeah.
people, but now
Yeah,
one
there's
person.
two.
Now on.
Yeah.
So
Okay. And that's the 23rd?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Double checking.
So
you've had upward of 1,000 inquiries into,
I would say so. Yeah, right around 1,000. We mailed out over well over 1,000. So,
So these are requests to be added or?
and sometimes there's only up to 4 spaces parcel related. So the online ones, that might be skewed just because if they have more than 4 parcels, which a lot of farmers do and stuff, they would then resubmit another application.
Oh, okay.
Same thing with the mailer too, if they happen to, want more than one copy, but
But no, those are not all additions. The vast majority are probably just them giving us an update on how they're using.
yeah, most are,
Okay.
most are just, I'd say, well over 90% are just reporting back on their land and saying that they want to be included in the ag district, and then, less than 10% would either be.
But you didn't have to report back, right?
Nope.
Oh, good.
No, you didn't have to, yeah, because people would call me and say they saw the letter and that they missed the deadline and they were worried that they were going to be removed from the district. It's just the only opportunity for the month of January being to either add a parcel or to remove a parcel.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Hey, I have a question.
Yes.
This land that the county's buying, I'm sure it was in the ag district. So does it stay in the ag district even though it changes ownership?
Mhm.
So
Do we want to take it out? It's not.
do we
out.
want to take it out because we're gonna build on it?
Well, building on it does not impact its ag district status.
You just have to do,
You're
it
not-
just takes closer review.
Yeah, yep, which, we did assist with the preparation of the seeker documents for, in the event that that was something we needed, so
Just curious.
I'm trying to be careful, but that would have been factored into it. I can't remember off the top of my head. I can look it up quickly.
Three.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, you should all have, it might be hard to see on the size of paper you have, but this is the proposed new layout for the Southern Transfer Station. Essentially, kind of the big thing, the big change is that we are trying to keep commercial separate from residential. Right now, it's all integrated. So if we can keep those two streams away from each other, we think that it'll improve safety greatly. So kind of starting on the right side of the parcel, and this is turned to the side. If this was actually north face, it would be, the residential would be on the top and the commercial would be on the bottom, but well, no, I guess it's mostly directionally correct, so it's a little tilted normally, but anyway. The residential side, on the right-hand side of the property would have a new attendant building, a small one, where people are not needing to go over the scale because they're paying by the bag or they're doing things that don't need to be weighed in. And so they're able to drive in. There's a little berm by the existing scale entrance. They're proposing that we flatten out that berm to give the turning radius space that we need. And having folks come into the entrance, stop at that station, and then they go up and around. And this will kind of go, the little arrows going down and around, it will go up onto a raised area where they're able to just push the garbage down below them instead of having to lift things over their shoulders. So we think that'll also help with safety for the residents as well. So they pay, they dump, our transportation attendants would be over there monitoring, and then they're on their way and they're out. They don't cross paths with any of the big trucks. The recycling building, they are proposing adding, first of all, replacing a lot of the doors, fixing a lot of the siding and those kinds of issues, as well as renovating the inside of where kind of the bathroom and the break room and all of that are, to make that a little more durable. It's a little too residential feeling so that it doesn't withstand boots and everything coming in. So make that a little more durable. And then add in where you see, if you look at the recycling building, in the center, there's the mattresses and electronics. It might be really hard for you to see. Do you want me to put it up on the screen? Would that be better?
Would it be bigger?
I could zoom in for you. Would that be better? I feel bad if you're like screening. But adding garage doors basically through so that we could access the electronics as a mattress from either side, and then you just keep one side closed if you need to, but just adding a little bit more convenience and adaptability with that space. Then in the top left of the property where the residential area currently is, that would essentially just be truck staging. And then some staging of some other commercial bins. Then, as you know, the building we repaired needs to be torn down. We had a little bit of a misunderstanding with Delta about what we want to have done with that. They knew we wanted to tear it down. They did not feel we were clear that we also wanted it replaced, but they are going to try to add that back into the scope for us and just so that we have an idea of the cost of that. So that has been, I think that will be straightened out, but that was came to a surprise. And then in the bottom, right below, that is where the new building will be constructed, and this is kind of the most complicated piece of it. But it will be a similar setup to how the current MSW building is, where the truck pulls in, except instead of having to back in, it can now pull through, which is safer. And we will have to basically remove some earth to get it below grade in order to have the elevations be where they need to be so that they can dump the waste into the top of the trailer. Because of that, there's going to need to be a pump station, which we don't love, but that was the only way to accomplish that. So we were a little disappointed to hear we have to worry about a pump station, but here we are. And Kyle, am I missing any major components? I think those are all the major, obviously the work on stormwater, there'll be pavement repair. There's gonna be areas where there will need to be concrete or where the trailers are staged, so the legs that come down are not beating up the pavement, so that'll have a little bit more longevity. And what we've asked Delta to do in the preparation of their bid documents is to give us lots of like kind of a la carte options so that we can have people bid on some kind of option 1, option 2, so that when we're considering the overall cost of the project, we can decide what we really need to get done and what we can live with. They expect to have those documents to us in March, meeting March. So
Really?
that is the big update. Wow.
So do you have an office down there, meeting room space down there?
There is a break room down there, and it is in rough shape. I would not want to meet down there. We meet
I think
outside.
I think we need to go down there and see what we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely. If you want us to, I mean, feel free to drop in whenever, but if we wanted to schedule something more.
Well, let's wait to April.
Sure. But we could also make something, more.
Is this all hooked into the city sewage?
Yeah.
So why do we need a pump station?
I know what.
The water that gets back into where we had to go below grade, so it doesn't go back.
It's surface water, right? Or more or less what it's gonna be, right?
Yeah.
But it can't go through the sewage system?
Or that's groundwater,
Well, it might be below
river.
where, yeah.
Is that why that berm is there?
The one up by the,
When you're gonna remove?
up by the scale.
Yeah.
I don't think so, because the flood zone doesn't go up that high. But I don't know.
Where all the water goes is where the back of the trucks is now, right? It's all tapered
Yeah.
right down.
Mm-hmm.
They can't raise that up to make that level. So you didn't have that water going down in.
You would have to then raise the building up higher than the height of a truck. Because there's the floor where people are dumping their waste,
Right.
and then the truck sits down below it, and so if this goes up, this also has to go.
Yeah, they said because for compaction reasons, they can't use the excavator to packed down.
Well, half the reason all the damage down there is because we let them use the excavator.
They are going to add in, so I'm running out of
This
things
is
to,
digging up your.
coming off. And then this will slide, so instead of actually like,
You know?
but yeah, it can slide off of it down into the truck. Which is. Then what we need to have, and I explained to Delta is, up like a. What, like a site maintenance plan or site kind of standards for how to maintain this, so that we can hold our operators accountable to
Yeah.
how to maintain this.
We ought to be able to hold whoever operates the transfer station accountable.
Yes, yes, and our current contract allows it for certain things, and it's not as clearly delineated in others, so.
So when's this all gonna happen? I'm just trying to figure out where we're gonna have a meeting down there so we can all wrap our heads around where, if that's all agreeable to everybody. I'd like to go see what we're doing.
Yeah, I think.
I've never been there.
Yeah, I can't.
Was it Southern?
Southern.
Well, this is the southern station?
Yeah.
I've been there.
Well, the bid documents will come in March. We also have to align the bond discussion, which we've started those discussions. There's seeker that has to go with bond. So before we can award anything, all that has to be taken care of. So it's,
So if we could meet down there, maybe have Delta there to explain what. What they're gonna do or what the design is,
I mean, you brought up safety like 3 different times.
yeah,
Did we have a lot of safety issues? Did people get hurt? I mean, are we having,
we've had lots and lots of close calls.
okay.
Some property damage, we'll say, but no as a result, no major injuries as a result of the flow of traffic. People have like hurt themselves, but usually it's because they didn't have like the little step, they took the steps off their truck and then they were getting off and they fell and those kind of things, but lots and lots of close calls.
I think it's a good idea to keep the residents away from the trucks. They're all coming in the same place now.
Well, they get mad at me when I'm too slow, too.
Yeah.
And it scales it.
Slowly taking my time
People,
off.
right.
For another.
Regular scale.
They're trying to pull out from underneath and you're like,
Okay.
yeah, so we want to keep all of that away.
Okay.
Yep.
You can think about when you want. Schedule a meeting down there. We'll bring the dollars.
On a nice day. You're not gonna go into the basement. There's not a good meeting space.
So Kevin did some research on the sort of snowmobile trail hunting season
Oh.
question, so he was just gonna give you.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, so,
They're complaining now, they got a lot of snow.
But,
yeah,
next season.
so, yeah, I help out with the whole snowmobile grant program, so, this was the first year I actually was able to attend, all of our clubs in the county. They have a county meeting once, or sometimes it's more than once a year, but, yeah, it's at least once a year. So I got to go there and kind of ask them. I also asked DEC about this, relating to your question about just the holiday hunt versus when trails used to be open versus now they open, if there's 8 inches of snow, they open January 2nd. So the problem is it's kind of a NISA versus DEC issue. The clubs that are in our county are worried about, you mentioned that if we could have them open on state property, right, during the hunting season, during that holiday hunt, how the trails used to be open kind of at the end
I don't know
of
if it's the
December.
holiday hunt, it's the hunt after like December 15th.
Yeah, so that period, when the snowmobile trails used to be open, all the snowmobile clubs do want it to go back to that date.
I know.
The problem is the land, they don't want to enforce it as it is right now because DEC has this holiday hunt that goes from the 14th to the end of December. And they would have to get every single landowner to be on board with that, or else the trails wouldn't be contiguous. You'd ride on, someone's property and they wouldn't, a property owner could be mad and then want the trail shut down because they want to hunt on it or something, if they're hunting at the end of December. So it is an issue which I found interesting, that the state, like that NYSA, which is the snowmobile entity at the state level, they're trying to get it back to that mid-December opening date and not have that all in the hunting season, which has recently been extended from that week that's December 26th to January 1st, getting rid of that because that never existed before. And that's kind of a new thing that DEC started. And I've seen flyers that are share the woods or whatever, but the problem is, with snowmobilers being out there and hunters being out there and landowners ultimately being the ones that decide what goes on their property,
Well, it'd be nice to know actually how many hunters are out there after December 15th to
Yeah.
January 1st.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said before, if they're not done hunting by then, they've already hunted 3 months. There's not a lot of them out there. You're gonna get one or two, and why should they doing it for everybody else?
Wonder if we could get the data on how many animals are taken.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
should be easy.
that part's up.
Yeah.
Landowner, chances are landowner, unless I need to mention some kind, but most landowners they're done hunting by then.
They should be.
You know what I mean?
Well, and that's what some of the clubs mentioned, is a specific subset of their landowners that are very much, that are property owners that allow a use on the trail. They allow people to snowmobile, but they also are taking advantage of that hunting season because they rely on that as a food source. So they use it as,
I know where
Is it
they're
a certain community?
yes.
Yeah.
I know where they're coming from with that.
So,
Oh, yeah.
so
Don't ride snowmobiles, they
Some of
like to eat.
so some of those clubs that's a large percentage of the landowners that have trails, that snowmobile trails that are going through their property, that they're hunting, and they would not, they probably wouldn't go for that if there's a hunting season occurring at the same time. And then if you can't get every landowner on board, then the trails aren't gonna be contiguous to where.
So the
They
only
won't-
way you can stop that is to get the state to do it away with that,
Yes,
2 weeks
to where
on.
when
when it's done on December 15th and that's it.
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
That's the way it used to.
That's the way it is.
And that seemed to be what the clubs wanted. They said that they've, been in a lot of talks with NYSA to kind of, I guess, I don't know if it's lobbying, but, lobby for them to have the snowmobile season start in mid-December again, and then have, hunting season
Well-
end when it used to end.
Add that 2 weeks to the beginning.
Yeah,
Started in the middle of September instead of 1st of October.
yeah,
Yeah.
Did you want to make a motion on it?
To do what?
Write a letter to the state.
The Adirondacks, yeah.
Yeah, they started in middle of September. They're riding snowmobile
They're
a
done.
month before.
There you go.
yeah. But it sounds like something NYSA is having, working with elected officials to have legislation drafted at the state level to get rid of how the hunting, that new kind of holiday hunt,
So,
trying to revert it back to,
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous.
yeah,
By that time, half starved anyway.
well, it's kind of an economic impact on this area too.
Yeah.
People aren't, restaurants, gas stations and everything else.
yeah, and that's what the snowmobile club mentioned too, yeah.
So
We
that's
had a big snowfall in that end of December, and they weren't able to. And with our grant program, we see that all of the clubs have trouble getting the full potential, like that 70%, the 150,000 that we provide them, is 70% of their grant award, and a lot of times there's not enough snow
or enough time.
to maintain the trails, to groom them and stuff. So we're not seeing them get their entire grant award. Sometimes they have to pay back part of the 70% because they didn't have enough snow that they didn't have time to maintain the trails, so. Yeah, they definitely would like to see the season expanded
So
to,
should we write a letter then? I don't know. The DEC, or would it do any good, or?
yeah, I don't know.
I move that we write,
There we go. Second. You have a second?
Sure, I'll second that.
Second.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm interested in the number of tags that get filled in that time. It's gotta be low.
Oh, no, I think I heard it was record high this year, I don't know.
Oh, during that holiday time?
Oh, no, not
Oh,
during.
just during that holiday time.
Well,
Because I bet you more families
What's that?
get together
You
to
writing
try
the
to
letter?
snowmobile than they are gonna be hunting.
Am I writing the letter?
You wanna draft the letter? Should
I think so.
I can draft.
Draft the letter. You wanna look at it next meeting and then send, you wanna look at it online or whatever?
we look at it the next meeting, I mean, it's no.
Okay.
yeah, I think just bring in the economic development piece of it.
Okay,
and the
yep.
Efficiency of spending down the grant
Yep.
monies.
Then your wife doesn't like you hunting after Christmas anyway.
That's right, yeah. I don't get anything, so I'm one of the people out there. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Don't say that in front of Kyle. He'll be.
Know where that's going.
Yeah.
Well, they don't vote.
No, but they own a lot of land.
Well,
They're not stopping.
No.
And we wanna, yeah, it's a fine balance to keep the landowners all amenable to having a trail go across the property and not. Then,
That's the thing, yeah, that's what the clubs were worried about too, was. Yeah, they don't wanna make any landowners upset and, yeah, come find a fence on the property, you know, a week later or whatever, or next spring, you know, they go out in the fall to. Cut down trees or whatever, and the landowner has a fence going through what they thought was a snowmobile trail, but yeah, so.
and
All right, well, thanks for looking into that.
Yeah, and I could talk again with the clubs if there's anything you guys, you know, any input you wanted on the snowmobile club's behalf, yeah, okay.
okay, Glen Bank user fee.
Okay, our last item I just wanted to bring to your attention, and actually hot off the presses, I have a conclusion on this. There was some question between, a couple county departments and land bank on whether the land bank should be paying user fees. Because typically, just because somebody is wholly exempt, they're not exempt from the user fee. However, both, the language that Toga provided from the attorney as well as our attorney agree that land banks. Oh, no, Denise is saying she believes that the land bank would be responsible to pay the user fee. So there's a discrepancy in an attorney interpretation of how this would apply to them. So I just want to give you a heads up that that's something that
Well,
we need to get an understanding on of.
why would they pay a user fee if they're not doing anything when nobody's in the properties?
They still pay a user fee even if there's nobody living in the structure,
Really?
unless it becomes uninhabitable.
Well, most of them are. Oh.
Yeah,
um,
you know, if they had like the proof it was condemned or something like that, or, you know, we could, but yes.
so like even properties around the county where someone owns the home, but they're not living there, they still pay use fee.
Yes,
So,
we're not able to track whether somebody's in every single, you know, house if somebody's living in it or not. But so we have a little bit of a kind of a difference of opinion, but I just want to let you know that's something we're trying to work on getting a answer to, so that we can apply it correctly, and then I can let all of you know, so you.
Actually, how many do they have in the county?
These a few. 3 or 4?
yeah, no more than 5, I think.
$200.
Yeah, I would,
So,
if Toga asked me what I think, I would say that we can let the attorneys figure it out, but if we can't decide, then we should just pay it. Because the land bank does derive a lot of value when we forgive back taxes and so forth on these properties. There's a value to that. So,
and
to be a good partner.
my info was just like, I just want to make sure we're applying the law correctly and the same across all.
Let's start making exceptions.
Right, that's what I mean, so I just wanna make sure.
Well, thanks, Tammy, for putting in the
So I
time.
guess it's still to be resolved, but I just want to give you a heads up. That's hard.
Anything else? Anybody got anything else?
Well, I did just want to mention that the Soil and Water District, I didn't say this in my report, but they are in the middle of their tree sale. So it's on their website and you can get trees for not a lot of them. Very good value. And it runs through at least the end of the month.
You still have a lot of trees available?
Yeah.
How much do they cost?
It's like in the
But the Christmas trees, okay?
probably like under $10 a tree, like you can get, I haven't looked at the price list recently, but I know it's historically a very good value.
Okay.
I think I memorized it. I forgot the whole thing.
So how much per tree?
How much are Christmas?
Well, a lot of them are in packs of like 5 or 10. Yeah. Because I know like sycamores, I think it was like you couldn't get one. Like I think I got 5. I don't know how tall they are or anything. But
They're going
And I
to
think-
get very tall.
yeah, yeah,
Sycamores, they planted by water, right?
yeah.
Anything else?
We can sure go plant the trees, you got a mow around it.
Okay, okay.
You know those pine trees, when they get big, the roots pop out of the ground, you can mow over them and put
You
them.
can see my willow tree.
Yeah.
I'm ready to cut that.
I got 5
Before it
acres.
falls down, they're very
Oh,
deep wooded. You can see like it's been shedding for years probably.
Everyone thinks it's beautiful until you're mowing
Yeah,
it in the face and
then
everything.
you gotta go weed whack it. More work.
All right, next meeting date, so what's that?
Well,
Month, same day, same time? Doesn't, February second.
second, and
I
Thursday.
think it's tentatively the 12th.
All right. Motion to adjourn,
So move.
second,
Second.
favor?
All right,
All right, thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you.